Sharon Vandivere.
Hello. I asked to speak to you today to urge you to support the recommendations of the task force to study the implementation of a dyslexia education program. The task force reviewed the scientific literature to identify practical steps that can prevent and address reading difficulties in Maryland's children, regardless of whether or not the GTLD program is a good fit for them. Specifically, they recommend, first, ensuring that teachers understand dyslexia and are trained in a structured literacy approach to teaching reading. Second, universal early screening and identification of reading difficulties. And third, a tiered instruction based on the screening results, with at-risk children receiving more intensive services. Unfortunately, many elementary school teachers don't understand dyslexia and have not been trained in structured literacy. My own sister-in-law, a Washington Post Teacher of the Year, who has been trained as a reading specialist, has been discouraged by her lack of ability to understand and address her third-grade daughter's reading and writing difficulties. I know my sister-in-law is like most teachers, a compassionate person who works many hours for modest compensation in order to help her students succeed. What a tragedy to let such dedicated teachers go without the tools they need to accomplish this goal. This gets more personal for me. I am the parent of 3 MCPS students. Our house is full of books, and every night we read with our younger 2 at bedtime. Given this environment, my children will all tell you that they love to read. But my 3rd grader has a secret. Unlike his friends who are reading Rick Riordan and J.K. Rowling, he still struggles with Dr. Seuss. My son knows he has dyslexia, but deep down he believes he's stupid. His teacher gives him homework that he can't understand. Sometimes he tries, other times he ends up slashing the paper with heavy black pencil marks, or crumpling it into a ball, or shredding it into bits. And now he has a diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder. What will happen next year when he can no longer maintain the facade of a boy who loves to read all the time? How did he get to 3rd grade without learning to read? When he first came to live with me as a foster child at age 3, he already had an IEP and attended a Montgomery County PEP program. Yet each year, the gap between his and his peers' reading abilities has continued to grow. As a research scientist who studies child well-being, I know the increased risk of poor outcomes of children like my son who have experienced abuse and neglect. I also know that children of color, like my son, who is black, are overrepresented in foster care and in the juvenile justice and criminal justice systems. And recently, I was alarmed to learn that individuals with learning disabilities, especially dyslexia, are overrepresented in our prisons. What will my son's prospects be when he is older if he cannot read? So in closing, I would urge you to review the task force recommendations and implement their recommendations. Thank you very much.